Of course, what has now clearly been demonstrated is that there are no good guns. Because violence, which is what the guns use, makes it impossible for those who don't have guns to call on those who have guns to account to them. So even when we removed the guns of Rutwa and Obote, in fact the matter became worse because the war had weakened the ordinary people even more than they were before, because of displacements, because of breakdown of cultural institutions and things like that. The civil society had become weaker and unable to cause those with guns to account to them. And that will not come, as far as I'm concerned, it will not come by itself. It will come through the struggle.
Another struggle.
The ongoing struggle.
The ongoing struggle.
It will so people must build the capacity to subdue those who are dominating us. We must build the capacity to overwhelm them. They will not by themselves say now, we have dominated you enough, you can now continue. And so, struggling with arms against them is counterproductive. That's why we have said that we need now to struggle without guns. And the struggle without guns has been successful in many, many parts of the world. So it's not a pioneering, thing. People have non-violently struggled and regained influence in their countries. And that takes really three things. First, for people to become conscious of their situation. So they must have information that makes them know why they are in the situation in which they are, and that they can actually overcome it. And that is through everyone doing what they need to do to pass that information to the people. People have been dominated for so long, lose confidence, and that is what you find everywhere amongst our people, thinking it's not possible, what can we do? They think they are too weak to do anything. So we must empower them to be able to say, no, we can. This is our country and we can assert our will. That's the first step, for people to regain confidence, to have information. Secondly, is to organize so that they can speak with one voice or act in concert, act together. Now, for any of these things that we are talking about which need to happen, those whom it is supposed to happen against are not seated. They don't want it to happen. They don't want people to have that information. That's why Matembe will not be allowed on the front line. That's why they will not allow us on the radio stations here. Because they don't want the information. So we have to be creative in how to get as much information to as many people as possible, even in the obtaining circumstances. To organize will also be difficult because they don't want us to organize so that people can act together. In fact, they will be trying to do everything to divide and cause conflicts amongst the people so that they don't act on those who are dominating us. But that's why it's a struggle. We must win against all those challenges that are ranging against us. Finally, if we are able to have a critical mass of people who are conscious, who are awake, two, if we are able to have a critical mass of people who are organized, then we can take action that ends the domination. Non-violent action, we can take non-violent actions that end the domination. Even simply by not cooperating with those who control the country. We can withdraw our cooperation from the government, and people have power by obedience. People obey those who are in power. If you withdraw your obedience, they have no power. And so that is our vision, which you were asking. Our vision is that we must build a non-violent resistance against those who dominate us until they get down. And once they get down, then there must be a reconstruction of the polity from that of dominance to that of democratic dispensation, which also does not happen overnight. It's also a process. And that's why we think there must be a transitional process that includes having a constitution that people make for themselves when they are not dominated, building institutions that become now institutions of the people, not institutions of the dominant. In our case, we believe we shall need a process of reconciliation, because there is a lot of hatred in the country. I think that you had someone who is willing to leave heaven if she finds there someone else. So there will need to be a process of reconciliation. Of course, reconciliation comes with truth-telling, justice, and reconciliation. And then we can have free and fair elections. It's not possible to have free and fair elections without going through that process, in my view. But the starting and most difficult part is to end the domination. And that's where we are. Now, his question was, why aren't you insane by now? Considering maybe he was saying all that, you've gone through. First of all, in my case, I was a bit lucky because I prepared myself psychologically before venturing into what I've been trapped in. When I left Aga Khan Hospital to go to the bush, it was not a small decision, and I wrestled with it for quite a bit of time until I made up my mind saying, now you go. And so I prepared myself for the worst. And indeed I expected the worst in the bush. Secondly, as I have said, I have also been alert to what it takes, what this process takes. So I'm not easily disappointed that things have not worked out now. I know that it could take even beyond our generation. Indeed, there have been many generations in this struggle. We are just a contributor. We live and others continue. So I'm not easily disappointed. But finally, I believe that all this is by the grace of God.
Thank you very much.
Wow. Thank you so much.